Hello and welcome to 3 Stitches Short Stitching Tendencies podcast. My name is May and I am coming from you from Northeast Ohio on this fabulous Friday the 13th. Grab your horror films, maybe some spooky knitting, and let's get started. I am drinking a peppermint mocha in my Baby Yoda mug. Love it. I think I have one more container of peppermint mocha. My mom saw one and snagged it when she was at the grocery, so definitely thankful that they still have a little bit of that in stock. And let's see, we got a lot going on this week. Very happy to be back just 1 week. Let's see if we can keep this up, because it's a day later, but you know, funness. Let's see. Oh yes, welcome back to my 14 subscribers. I'm impressed. I did not think that 14 people would want to sit here and listen to me go on and on and on about my knitting. So thank you to all 14 of you. If you're new here, welcome. Hit that like, leave a comment, smash that subscribe button. I would truly appreciate it. Help me keep going. And I think that's it for all of the introductory stuff. So I am just going to dive on in. We're gonna start with what I'm wearing. I am so thankful it cooled off enough because I love wearing my shawls. I am currently wearing my Shawlography by Mr. Stephen West. I just finished it like 2 weeks ago. I just showed it off in full form on last week's podcast. I might as well show it off again because it's so gorgeous. Like, I cannot believe, it's not something I'd wear out because I wear a lot of muted and monochromatic and boring clothes when I'm out, but guys, look at how gorgeous it is. I absolutely love it. Quick recap, 3 of these colors are from Trilogy Yarns, which is Nancy in Spokane, Washington. We've got Till We Meet Again, Silver from the Crayola colorways, and this beautiful pink is called Blush. And then from Robin's Promise on the Songbird base, we have this green color. I really have no idea what it's called, sorry. And then from Lauren over at Lolo Did It, we have Violet Beauregard in this beautiful purple on the Everyday Sock. And that is what I'm wearing this week. Once again, I absolutely love it. I'm definitely a big shawl girl, so let me just get this back up. Alright, so little bit of really exciting news. First thing first, since I have this out, guys, this blue, look at it, it's called Till We Meet Again. And Nancy has been so fabulous. I reached out to her and I'm like, hey, this color is seriously my jam. Can I get a sweater's quantity? I know it's, a retired colorway. And she's like, absolutely. I'm gonna be a little bit busy this coming week, so probably next week I'll be able to dye it up for you. I'm like, cool, awesome, thank you. Tuesday I was at the wool store, and guys, she sent me a message like, hey, your wool's on the way, I'm invoicing you via PayPal. I'm like, wait, what? You did it that fast? And she's like, oh yeah, I found some extra time. I'm like, girl, I've seen how busy you've been lately. Thank you. Nancy, you are a true treasure. Thank you so much. I can't wait to get it so I can start my love note for Rhinebeck. In other news, guys, I kicked the table, sorry. If you are ever in the Northeast Ohio area around the Table Yarns, it's in Shaker Heights. Oh my God, Pam and Beth and their wonderful staff are just so amazing. Their store has not one, but two local dyers. They had a trunk show for a little bag maker. It was just an overall amazing experience. I absolutely love that store. I'm going to be going quite frequently from now on. Husband's pocketbook has been warned. All right. So let's see. Oh yeah, so Nancy got me my wool shipped out. I found a local yarn store. Little wool shops are the best. I was asked to start teaching at another studio. What? So, I had posted a link to my prior podcast in one of the local guilds, and a shop owner was watching it, and she reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm in need of a knitting instructor. Would you be interested in teaching? And I'm like, absolutely. So I actually have a meeting tomorrow to go meet her and see if we can agree on some details and go from there. But just even being considered and asked is like, I had no idea that one episode of a podcast would do that for me. So that's just absolutely amazing. Thank you. Also was selected for a test knit for Lauren with Lolo Did It. So that starts Monday. It is not a secret test knit, so I will be sharing progress here and on Instagram throughout the month, because it is supposed to be completed by June 16th. So I'm going to be getting really lost in that come Monday when we test knitters do get the pattern. So I am so stoked. So much has happened this week. I cannot believe how quickly my little dive into the community has sparked just so much warm reception, open reception. It's just been so amazing. Y'all just blow my mind. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. All right, so I have 7 FOs, a few whips, nothing that you guys saw last week, because I was naughty. I had a cast on party. I have some new acquisitions, and then I have a couple projects we'll get into at the end. Yeah, so let's get started. Let's start with my my finished objects. So they're socks! Yay! So these socks are on the Je suis prêt colorway from Lolo Did It. They are on an 85-15 base. I do them 9-inch circular needles, 64 stitches. These ones have a heel flap and gusset. I did an Eye of Partridge heel flap. I love that detail. It's absolutely gorgeous. These are actually socks that I did most of quite a bit ago. I literally just wove in the tails because I don't know why. It takes me forever to weave in tails usually, and that's something I'm actively going to try to get better at. So I'm counting these as an FO for today because I did just weave in the tails today. And And now I can start wearing them, and they are so yummy. I love these socks. They're so beautiful, and I'm kind of happy I'll finally be able to wear them. FO number 2. Boom. These are also Je Suis Play. These are the same wool for the primary fabric. The contrast, I don't have the ball band. I don't remember what the brand is called. I know that I got them from a little wool shop that's semi-local to me, but I wasn't very fond of the atmosphere, so I probably wouldn't go back anyway, and it's not something that my new local wool shop carries, so I guess it doesn't really matter what they are. But yeah, so these are also 9-inch circular, 64 stitches, 2.25 millimeters. These ones have a cut-in heel. And guys, like, so I started doing cut-in heels back in like December on my husband's socks for Yule, and within the first wash, like the first pair just fell apart. I don't know why, but it happened, and I was so upset, and that's why these ones didn't get finished right away. And I was also really upset because it was like 10 freaking ends to weave. Like, that's a lot. And so these were literally sitting on my whip basket for like 6 months, and I actually started them back in July, so they were like literally a whip for almost a whole year. And it was because I was afraid to do the heels, and I was already past the point of no return, so I had to do cut-in heels. Thankfully, Mr. West introduced me to the Weave and Steven, and that has made all the world of difference, especially with wools that they will eventually, you know, grab onto each other and felt a little bit. So I finally got these finished. Yay! 2 pairs of socks! My third FO is bow, 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 another pair of socks. These ones you guys did see last week. These are what I'm calling my spooky socks. The wool is Practical Magic by Nancy of Trilogy Yarns for the body, and then the heels and toes are Knit Pick Stroll in Ash. Again, 9-inch circular needles, 64 stitches, 2.5 millimeter needles. And then my little stitch markers counting every 10 rows for myself, just so I know, you know, when I've had enough, because I've kind of got me and my husband down to where I'm like, okay, I just have to knit for this many rounds if I'm making shorties, or this many rounds if I'm making middies or longs or whatever it is I'm doing. So that is that. And then I have just a cute little thing. Look at this. This is a little wool cozy. I did 64 stitches on 3.75 millimeter needles. I was gauge swatching for a summer tea knit along, and I always hate gauge swatching because I'm like, I'm just wasting that wool. Like, I've got better things I can do with that. So I've decided when I am gauge swatching for things that are in fingering weight wool, I will gauge swatch in the round, because most of my things will probably be sweaters if I'm swatching. And I'll just make little wool cozies, because you can never have too many of those. But look at it. It's so cute, and it fits a skein of wool perfectly. I absolutely love it. I started with inspiration I saw on Pinterest. The girl's name was Sarah something. She has a free pattern on there, but I quickly, once I realized it was going to be the same as my socks, I very quickly just did my own thing, finished with a 2x2 ribbing, and then I did an I-cord bind off, which, oh, there. I think that this I-cord bind off is just absolutely adorable. It gives it a good amount of stretch without being too stretchy. So yeah. And we'll get to what this yumminess is for when I get to whips. Moving on, I've got the rest of my FOs. I've had a lot of FOs this week, guys. 8 FOs this week. Like, what? The last 4 are in this beautiful bag. This is a new acquisition from Knick Knack Knits. She was the featured artist at the local wool shop for me. I absolutely love this bag. First of all, it's like my shades of blue. Love it. I love this like cork bottom that gives it so much stability. And it's got boxed corners. I absolutely love this. It's gorgeous. Wonderfully, wonderfully made. Okay, so in this, guys, inspiration struck hard this week. I had a mind whip go to an FO, and it didn't go into one FO, y'all. It went into 4 FOs. I think I went over this last time. There were like 8 babies born within 3 years. And most of those babies are getting to the age where they are old enough to be out and play in the snow this coming winter, but they're not old enough for scarves. So I designed these itty bitty, oh, that's a back. You can see a little bit of a seam. In crochet, it's kind of a necessary evil. But I designed these itty bitty little cowls. Look how cute these are. So this is gonna be the toddler size. The children who are about 1 to 2 years old are gonna get this size. This is for one of the girls. I pretty much just did 3 of the girls. I have 4 boys and 1 more girl to work with. So you'll probably see those pretty soon because these are going to be Yule gifts. But look at this baby pink. This little girl is going to be 2 this coming winter. And I love this color on her. It's so gorgeous. She's got this gorgeous dark brown hair with like these bright, brilliant blue eyes. And I think this ballet pink is just, it just looks so gorgeous on her. So that one's for her. This one is for my Lilith. This is going to be the small child size. I can't even see where the whats are. Interesting. Okay, so this is going to be the small child size, and this will be for children like 3 to 6 or 7 probably. I think it would probably fit just fine. And this color pink, my daughter begged me for. This was actually just a partial skein that I had lying around. And my daughter picked out the pink and she absolutely loved it. And she begged me. And I'm like, let me see. And I had 99 grams. And it worked. I did not run out. I actually have a little bit left over still. So that's really fantastic. Excuse me. Third up, so I don't even know what happened here, but I forgot a braid. Not sure how or why, but you know, it was probably late and I was crocheting away. But again, it's the same pattern, I just forgot 1 row. Not a big deal. But this is for the 8-year-old niece. That's the back. Again, you can always see like just that teeny tiny little bit of a seam on the back. It's not my favorite part, and that's probably why I don't crochet garments or wearable things very often, but it was in my head and I made it come to life. But this is going to be my bigger kid version. And this will probably be for children probably like 7 to 12 or 13, something around there. And then y'all, this is an acquisition and an FO. This is my adult size, and this is in Malabrigo Rios Cereza. It's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. This one is going to be in a gift for my mother-in-law this year. She loves the deep burgundies and the deep reds, and it's just amazing. Now, when you hold, ooh, I got caught. Oh no, okay. When you hold them all up together, you can't really see like much of a difference between the sizes, but like this I can't get over my head, where this one comes on quite easily and I have quite a bit of room of slouch and everything. So like I don't know why they don't look much different in size, but they really are like quite roomy and quite stretchy. My 3-year-old can wear this one, but she more comfortably fits in this one. And then this one, when it's on her, it just looks way too big. So like, it's kind of cool how it's like, oh yeah, they look all the same, but they're not. So these 3 were done with big box acrylic. These 2 I think are impeccables from Michaels, and I think this one's just a Red Heart Super Saver I have left over from my crochet blanket days. Very much super handy when you're talking about making for little children who are going to fall and get hurt on the playground and rough things up and not care about what it is you made. All they care is like, hey, you made it for me, so thanks. But yeah, so that is the end of my FOs. Yay! And we're 22 minutes in. Wow. That was fast. Please excuse my wild and untamed hair. I've had straight hair like literally all my life. And thanks to some of my medications, I've started getting curly hair. So like, I don't know if you can really tell, but that is curling its way, and that's why it's not staying up in my hair bun. I'm starting to work with a local hairdresser to try to define and hydrate my curls, so that way they will be presentable, because right now it's a hot mess. I have these beautiful curls and they're like spiral downs when I get out of the shower. My hair's still wet, but as soon as it dries, it is a frizzy hot mess, and I'm like, how are you gonna fool me like that? You know, like I'm all ready and I'll feel cute with my curls, and then it ain't cute once it's dry, and it's just like, boo. Alright, so on to whips. Now, I was naughty. I did work a little bit on my painting honeycomb shawl, but it was not enough to like bring it out here and be like, oh, look what I did, y'all. No. And I did work on some of my husband's blanket, but again, it was not enough for me to be like, yeah, look what I did. I worked so hard on this. So maybe next week I'll feel a little better and want to share those with you guys. But what I did work on, I've got 3 whips to share with you. In another Knick Knack Knits bag. Look at how cute this is. I absolutely love this. I love these little, they're single ball bags, perfect for socks. And that's exactly what's in here. So the wool is Happy Mermaid Yarn Co. It is an 80-10-10 MCN. And guys, look at how gorgeous this purple is. I absolutely love this. This is just like so pretty. And these are going to be socks for my mom. She just moved here in late August of last year, and she's a transplant from Arizona, just like me, and she don't like the cold, guys. So I am in the process of really focusing on making her some socks. I pretty much have a little 2x2 cuffing done. My little cuffling. These are 9-inch circular 2.5 millimeter needles, but these are actually Haya sharps, and not ChiaoGoo red lace. I saw these in a store when I was in Columbus, and I'm like, hey, let me just try them. I've gotta say, they're pretty comparable to my ChiaoGoos. Am I going to forego my ChiaoGoos and switch everything to Haya? No. But if my ChiaoGoos are all busy on other projects, I have an alternative. So that is this. I absolutely love this. I had my mom try on one of my recent finished socks, and it fit her perfectly. Even though her foot is like a lot bigger than mine, it fit her perfectly, which means I think I'm probably making my socks way too big for myself, which I can see, because I don't like when like socks are so tight that like they cut off the circulation or like leave an indentation or anything like that. So yeah, but I like the way my socks fit, so I'm not gonna change anything about them. In my Knit for Brains Harry Potter bag, I'm counting this as a whip because I've wound up the wool, but I haven't cast on yet. But we have Knit Pick Stroll in Wonderland Heather, and Lola Did It Everyday Sock. Is it gonna focus? Yeah. And the colorway is Harpy. Okay. So this is Wonderland, and that is a really, really light blue that's still, I don't know why, like everything else has been coming across and reading pretty accurate, but that's coming across really like blue, and it's much lighter. It's like a icebergy type blue. It's not blue like what you see there. I don't know. So when I told my mom to pick out sock wool, of course she picked out that first purple because that's her favorite, but she also picked out this. And I'm like, that is mine. I bought that for me. But I can't tell her no. I mean, she moved out here from Arizona to like help me with the babies and help with my health issues. So I am, instead of doing a solid like single colorway for myself and then a second pair for myself, I'm gonna do contrast heels, toes, and cuffs with this for me, and then after I finish those socks for her in the purple, I'm gonna use the leftovers from that to do heel, toes, and cuffs on this for her. And I think that would be a really good combination. Her favorite color is purple. My favorite color is obviously the blue and the teal colors. And so that is that. We'll each have a pair of coordinating socks, and I think that's kind of cute. So, oopsie, I dropped one. No, kitty, leave that alone. My cat has come to say hello. We'll get back to whips in a second. We're only 30 minutes in. I feel we've got one whip left. I feel like we're doing good. Come here, Satan. Whoa. Okay. So, meet Satan. Hey. Kit Kat. Okay. This is Satan. He is my little floofer. He is a 7-year-old domestic short hair. And he is just the cuddliest, most affectionate little kitty ever. And I love him. He usually just hangs out at my feet or on my lap or anywhere I am. He got his name because he's been with me through 4 of my 5 pregnancies, and when I'm pregnant, he's just so attached to me that, like, he'll want cuddles, but I'm already running so hot because I'm literally an incubator. I'm like, no, not today, Satan. So he got the title. Satan is a title, ruler of this hell, this house. So he is the Satan of the home. He was dubbed Elijah freaking Cole when I adopted him. Yes, after Elijah and Cole, 2 of my favorite originals. Nobody likes Finn, and he's a boy, so he couldn't be Rebecca. And Niklaus is reserved for my Siberian Husky wolf dog. So I don't have one of those yet, but I will be getting one of those, and his name will be Niklaus, and my husband has been forewarned. Alright. Thank you for meeting, everybody. Say hello and goodbye. Hello and goodbye. Yes, thank you for the kisses. Alright. Okay, now that I've got fur all over, let's get to my last whip. Living in my Knit for Brains Gilmore Girls giant what the heck is this type bag. I love it. Like, this bag is the best. I carry so much stuff in it because if I leave it open, like, yeah, it's got my whip in there, but I can put like 3 or 4 other smaller whip bags on top of it, and I just carry all my whips around in this. So this is a bit of acquisition and whip, because I bought the yarn for this project. Oh, that is not that. Let's see. So the wool that you saw earlier, this beautiful, beautiful thing. And guys, look how cool that, like, color flashing in the green is. It just spirals directly up. That's so cool. This is one of the 2 local dyers that my little wool shop carries. This is called Tina's Twisted Fibers. And she is on Etsy. How cool is that? I love her logo. It's so pretty. It is Tina's Twisted Fibers.etsy.com. And this is her Prancing Peacock. It is 75% BFL, 25% nylon. I ended up getting 4 skeins of it for this project. I knew I wanted this project, and I knew I wanted my blue-green colors. Beyond that, I didn't know. So I actually bought 4 skeins of this color, and I also bought 2 skeins of this contrast color. Look, it's blue. Again, it's showing up so much more blue. These are much lighter blues in reality, and they're a lot more, there's a little bit more green. But these are Ancient Arts yarn in the color Creekside Passion 8. They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous, but I actually decided not to use them in this project. I don't know if I'm going to return them for store credit and use that towards one of my other future whips, or if I'm going to find something else that I want to work on. But this project, I am making the rocket tee. So I have cast on, I've got my long tail cast on, and I don't know what I'm doing here, guys, you know that. But look at those gorgeous little increases. I love, the reason I picked this one is I love this detail. This is gorgeous. This little lace detail down the raglans, and then it does continue into the sides. I love that. So I cast this on literally just last night when I was supposed to be recording. I got a bit of the I don't know. And so I just needed to sit in it for a bit. So that is what I did. So my wool shop has this really great policy that if you buy something and you don't end up using it, you can return it for store credit at whatever the current sale price of the item is. So if it is something that's gone on clearance, then you'll get that much in store credit for it. So I'll make a decision soon what I'm going to do with those other two. And if I don't end up needing all 4 skeins for this rocket tee, you know, that's just more that I can use towards getting something I'm probably actually going to use. I've got 5 shirt sweaters on like my docket this year. I definitely want to round out my wardrobe and have like some wearable pieces by winter, so that's what I'm really going to be focusing on. The first one being the rocket tee. But what was great was when I was shopping for the wool, their assistant, his name is Mark, is like, oh, do you want me to wind any of that for you? I'm like, yes, that would be fantastic. Yeah, y'all, I have a Swift and a winder, I do, but wow, was it convenient that when I was ready to cast on, I could just cast on. I didn't have to rearrange things to put my Swift on the one table in my house that it fits on. Like, that was awesome. And then I was like, well, I'm going to be alternating skeins, so can you split one of those in half for me? Because at the time I only bought 3. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. You just want it split in the middle? I'm like, yeah, that would be great. And he did it. No problem. It was amazing. So what I'm doing with the rocket tee, I'm all over the place, guys. I'm gonna be honest, I almost didn't record, but then I'm like, I need to, otherwise I'm just gonna create excuse after excuse as to why I'm not. And I don't want that. I want this to be a long-lasting endeavor. I want to really grow a community, and I think that without consistency that's not gonna happen. So I might be a hot mess, but I am here, and this episode is significantly gonna be a lot shorter, so maybe. All right, so my plan with the rocket tee, when I saw it, I'm like, oh my god, I love that. I love the raglan detail. I love the lacing down the side. It is everything I love. I even love the striping. But then after I bought the pattern and I started looking, I'm like, I don't really like the striping that much because you go from a fingering to a lace. I don't care for sheer things. I don't care for see-through. It's just not me. And so I was like, okay, what if I get a funky yarn and I do the whole thing in a solid colorway? But it'll be variegated, so it'll still have a really interesting, you know, look to it. And I thought, yeah, that's gonna be great. And so that's where I bought 3 skeins of the Prancing Peacock. And then I went back to the wool store the next day, and I'm kind of sitting there and I'm like, well, I mean, I think it could look really cool if I stripe it, but I could use fingering and fingering. I don't have to use the mohair and have like the lacy section. So that's where I bought these. And I was going to alternate between this and these, and that was going to be the striping. And I still really, really, really love that. But here's the thing. Partially like how I didn't want the fingering and lace, this is a heavy fingering. This is an 80/20, but it's 8 ply. It's a heavy fingering, almost a sport weight, and I just didn't want to mess with my gauge too much. I made a little swatch and I got one thing for gauge. Then I made this swatch, I got the same gauge. The first swatch was flat, this was obviously in the round. And I calculated my gauge, I did the knit math, and I'm like, I can still make the original size that I had intended, and it would just be about 3 inches smaller. But that's okay for me because it still gives me 3 inches of positive ease, and I don't want it to be too big. I think 6 inches of positive ease was just a little bit too big for my personal preference. So I'm like, you know what? I did the math. I'm okay with 3 inches of positive ease. And then I got home from the knit store because I'd never swatched before. So I did all the gauge measuring at the store with Pam and Beth, and they were very, very gracious in helping me figure that portion out, and Pam double checked my math, and thank you, thank you, thank you. But then I cast on the actual top, and I start getting to the point, I'm like, okay, I need to make the decision. Am I going to stripe these, in which case I don't need to alternate the prancing peacock, or am I going to do it in the solid colorway and alternate the prancing peacock every other round, or every other row, because we're working flat currently. And I couldn't figure it out. And so I asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, what do you think? And she goes, I think the stripes would be nice. Those are great colors. They work together really well, and they're totally you. I'm like, I agree, but I don't know. So I went to my husband and I'm like, honey, what do you think? He goes, I think you should go with your original plan and just do the solid. And I was like, dang it, y'all can't agree. Here I was hoping it'd be easy. If you both said the same thing, then I would just do what you guys said. No, it can't be that easy. It can never be that easy, right? So I get upstairs, I'm deciding, and I start like looking, and this whole time I'm under the impression this is just a regular fingering weight. And I start looking at, I'm about to pull the sleeve off, and I see it says sport on the side. And that's what made me stop and double check the gauge. And that's where I was like, okay, it's 437 yards per 100 grams, and the other one is 464 per 100 grams, so it's not that big of a difference. But one is 4-ply, one is 8-ply, and I didn't want to mess with my gauge. So ultimately that's what made the decision for me, that I am going to do my original plan, which is to make this in a solid colorway and alternate my skeins. While I'm knitting the first part, it's back and forth. I'm changing my skeins every other row to avoid any color flashing, which is funny because I still have quite a bit of color flashing, but it's fine. I love the way it's coming out. And then once I get to the point where I'm working in the round, I'm going to be doing some helical knitting, so that way I'll be changing skeins every round, and maybe some of this earlier flashing will be a little less apparent when I get to the body. But that is the last of my whips. And if I don't use, so they said even if I skein it up, or if I cake it up, they'll still allow me to return it. I ain't about that. So I've left the 4th skein that I got as it is, and if I don't use it, then I will have 3 skeins that I can get store credit for to use towards one of my future projects, one of which is going to be a long summer cardigan, and I have my colors for the stripes. I just need to get I think a gray color or maybe a cream color for the actual body of that. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but that is the plan. So, acquisitions this week. Y'all, yeah, it's been a week and not everything has even come in the post yet. So I got 4 skeins of this wool. I got 2 skeins of this. Again, this is Ancient Art Yarns. This is a Canadian hand-dyed wool. Excuse me, and it is 80/20 superwash merino. I got this bag. All the bags I got this week are from Knick Knack Knits, and they're just gorgeous. So I had the owls, I had the blue damask. Guys, look at it. It's Harry Potter. Love it. And like her little logo is that it's a little knitting minion. How stinking cute is that? Okay, so I got this little gauge ruler. It's branded for Around the Table Yarns, which is great. I absolutely love it. My daughter was bending my Susan Bates gauge ruler, and so I'm like, oh, I'll just get a wood one. It'll be harder for her to break. And I was letting her play with it, and then I needed it. So I asked her, I'm like, Lily, where'd you put my little square? And my husband's like, oh, the letter L. It was on the floor by the bathroom door. I'm like, okay, cool. And he goes, why are you letting her play with that? She's gonna break it. I'm like, no, it's wood. I got wood on purpose so that she couldn't break it. And I'm like, look. And I bent it. Y'all, it snapped. And my jaw dropped, and I just looked at my husband wide-eyed and gobsmacked. I could not believe that it snapped like that. And he looks at me. He's like, what made you think that it wasn't gonna break, that it wasn't breakable? I'm like, I just thought that wood was super sturdy. He goes, it is, until you start cutting designs in it and making it really thin. It's fine. It's fine. I got some super glue and I super glued it together. But he just looked at me, he's like, God, I love you. Oh, I digress. I crack myself up sometimes. Okay, so I have a huge order coming from Lauren with Lolo Did It. And I told you guys last week that I told my husband it's Chalgo or bust, like everything's gonna be Chalgo. And I got most of my needles from Lauren, but there were a couple things that she didn't have in her shop, and I'm an instant gratification person, so I got the rest of it from my local wool shop who did have it. I got a Chalgo, so I have the 4-inch small needle set. This is a 5-inch complete needle set. What? And then I have a lot of extras in here just because I try to keep all the sizes together. But this is a 5-inch lace needle set, and this goes 000 to 1.5. I've organized all my lace cables and everything in here, and I have my little 2s and 3s pouch in here as well, just to keep all of those lace sizes together. And then I got I'm in love with these. F off, I'm knitting. And F off, I'm crocheting. I saw these and I love them, and so I got them. I have found that these enamel pins, the ones with the double pin backs, are actually fantastic at holding the brim of my sun hat up. So I have one that says Night Knitter, and that's holding the brim up of my sun hat currently. But I think I'm gonna leave these two as enamel pins, and then I can just alternate those three depending on how I'm feeling in a day whenever it is I'm gonna be outside and stitching. I think that would be really, really cool. So when I got this, again, this is Malabrigo Rios in the color Cereza. I also, boom, got these. Now, again, that is showing much more blue, and I'm not sure why, but this is also Malabrigo Rios, and the color is, what is this? Ankara Green. It's definitely like a turquoisey color. And this is probably going to be for one of my husband's cousins. And then this is Harvest Yarns. I think that's what they're called. No, sorry, this is Earth Yarns by, it's their Harvest Worsted. And it was dyed with blueberries. How cool is that? So, yeah, this is going to be a winter cowl for my mother. I may or may not use this same pattern. I think everybody might be getting one of these. Man, woman, child, everybody's probably getting one of these because they're super simple to make. And I'll probably be putting out the pattern sometime this week. I want somebody else to look it over just to make sure, you know, I have it explained properly what I'm doing in here. Because part of it is worked solid, part of it is worked in a spiral. So I'm probably gonna have somebody look at it. I have a couple friends who do crochet. So I'll have them look at it, and once that's been tested a time or so, I might release the pattern. I'll also be starting to work on a fingering weight version of it because I like my fingering wool. Okay, so the last little bit of my acquisitions. We're less than an hour, guys. I'm doing good. I got heels and toe sock wool. So these are what's left. I've got ash that I used for my spooky socks. I've got the Wonderland that I'm using for my harpy socks. And then we have Frost, Electric Blue, Dove Heather. I actually got two of these because I know I like this color. And Grizzly Heather, which I think is probably going to be for mostly my husband's socks. And then since they were 50% off, I also got some Stroll gradients, and this is Ice Sculpture, and I got two of these, and this is Multiverse Gradient. Oh, I love it. It's very yummy. I don't know what I'm going to do with the gradients, but they are going to be something, and they're going to be something awesome. So that is the rest of my acquisitions, and there was some like sprinkled throughout, so I hope you enjoyed that. All right, just tidying up a little bit. Okay, so last little bit that I want to talk about is I have some projects that have been on the needles for a hot minute. And I'm gonna start like doing a finisher frog type thing. And this is the first of them. This was a knit along by Expression Fiber Arts last spring. And I actually did both. I did the knit and the crochet. And this is the knit one. It's like seriously half, a little bit more than halfway finished. And I hate it. Y'all, I love the pattern. I do. But I hate the colors. And it's not that I hate the colors. I love the colors individually. But together, I just don't think that it's my cup of tea. And it's not bringing me joy anymore. In fact, it hasn't been bringing me joy in so long that it's been sitting since last spring. And I just haven't worked on it. So, like I said, I finished the crochet one, and I gave that to an aunt last year for Yule. She wears a lot of flowery type things, and I thought that, hey, it would go pretty well for her. But I can't even bring myself to pick this up again, so I think I'm going to frog it. If I do frog it, I sincerely have like almost full skeins of the 4 colors. So, I mean, I can definitely like make some socks out of them or something, use them for heels and toes, or, you know, maybe I can rework the image in another way. Give me some ideas. If you have any ideas, give me some ideas. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated, because as of now, it's sitting on my needles in this bag that I just don't want to deal with anymore. Yeah. And then finally, I am going to bring out my very second pair of socks I ever did. I absolutely love them. Look at how cute they are. These are Mermaid Something. It's a pattern on Ravelry. They've got a mistake in this one where I broke the patterning, but I didn't care. I did my Eye of Partridge heel flapping gusset. I loved that. I never really wove in the heels and wove in the tails, but I would wear them anyway. I absolutely loved them. Well, when I was in hospital giving birth to my daughter, I decided to finally weave in all the ends and everything, and this one turned out fantastic. This one, however, it suffered a bit. And I'm not entirely sure how to fix this. So if you are a sock knitter who has made this boo-boo before, if you could please point me in the direction of where I can learn how to fix that, I would greatly love to wear my mermaid socks again. I love these things, and they love me, and they keep my toes warm. And yeah, so if you can point me somewhere where I can get help on how to fix those, that would be fantastic. Thank you. And that is all of the knitting content for today. Literally 1 hour. I'm impressed with myself. I had quite a bit to share today. Alright, so let's see, a little bit on life. My daughter is, like I said, she's 3.5, and she started dance this year, and her recital is coming up, so yay! I, being the crafty one I am, have to go to Michael's tomorrow and try to find some ribbons so I can make headbands for their hair. Fingers crossed that I can find those obnoxious colors. I get that dance, like, the costumes are supposed to be loud, and I get that, like, they need to be visible from stage. But y'all, these costumes, it hurts. It hurts to see her in this costume, but she loves it, and so we are going to buckle up and enjoy the ride. When she goes and does her performance afterwards, we're gonna go to lunch, and then we're gonna take her on a little getaway. We live like an hour from Great Wolf Lodge here in Northeast Ohio, so we're gonna go spend some time at Great Wolf Lodge. Super stoked about that. And then summer dance starts at the beginning of next month. It's only a month and a half. And then I think she gets like a month and a half off before the fall session starts. So, yay! She likes it, so we're going to encourage it. If at any point she says, no, Mama, I don't want to do that anymore, then we stop it and we find another activity for her. It's not the end of the world if she doesn't want to dance, but she loves it currently, and we are going to support it to the fullest of our ability. Lucinda is still my heart. She is the smiliest baby ever. I can't get over how smiley she is. Like, it's amazing. So definitely making some strides there. She's not gonna be smiling much longer. We're running low on her brand of formula. I'm not sure if any of you know, there is a formula shortage. Largest recall of formula in the last like decade or two, followed by worker shortages, followed by delivery delays, equals a formula shortage in America. We can't feed the babies we got here, but you know, we want to force more people to have them. Sorry. I'll be good, I promise. Probably not. This is my page, and if I want to talk about something, I'm going to talk about it. I'm actually really freaking ticked off. If you have a mother, if you have a sister, if you have a wife or a daughter, you need to be scared. I'm not going to get into the pro-life, pro-choice debate. That's not what I'm here for. Roe versus Wade did not say, women, you now have the right to abortions. That's not what it did. What it did was confirm that women have an unenumerated right to privacy. And since women's rights are not explicitly expressed in the U.S. Constitution, this was the first time that women's rights to anything were publicly and irrevocably acknowledged. And that is what is in danger. Women could not own a bank account without a male cosigner until after Roe v. Wade. Women could not get a mortgage or own real property without a male cosigner. Women could not have regular health care without their husband's consent. That's what Roe v. Wade is threatening. It is threatening your daughter's privacy. It is threatening your daughter's rights to being an individual person. That is a very scary and very slippery slope. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, which it is poised to do, based on the leaked opinion of the Supreme Court Justice, I'm scared. I am scared for American women. I'm going to leave it there. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. On a lighter note, reading and watching, because that's about as much of life as I can handle right now. Reading and watching, I have been falling asleep to the originals again. I love it. Joseph Morgan is my hero. I love Niklaus. He's the bad guy we love to hate and hate to love, but we do love him. Absolutely. I haven't been watching a whole lot of like actual shows or TV or anything like that. Mostly just because I've been knitting a lot and I can't follow a whole lot unless it's a show I've seen a million times. Like the originals or Vampire Diaries or Harry Potter. So I've been just following along with a lot of my podcasts. Catching up on We Share Needles. Anytime Lisa from Knit All the Yarn, or Kay with the Crazy Sock Lady, or Natalie with Nitty Natty have new podcasts. Like, I am like literally the alert goes off on my phone and within a couple hours I'm sitting down with a pair of needles and watching it. So thank you, all you wonderful podcasters, for keeping me entertained while I'm knitting. Reading, okay, so you know those ads on Facebook when you're scrolling and they're like excerpts from a book on like those reading app platforms, and they're like make you blush? They always get me every dang time. I've probably got 5 of those apps on my phone. So I've been reading this series on there. The first one was called Forbidden Mates. It's a BBG romance. And y'all, it is, I don't know. I'm one of those people, once I start a book and get into it, I have to finish it. And if it's a series, I have to read the whole series. My husband calls it the completionist complex. He's a big gamer with his D&D and DDO. And he calls it the completionist complex, where you can't leave it uncompleted. It's gotten better, but there's like some serious control issues, and I don't know how I feel about that. But I'm on the second one. I think it's a 3-part series. I'm on the second one. It's called Sinful Mates, and I like it well enough. I mean, it's not so bad I've tossed it aside. So let's see, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, stay tuned. There is a lot happening. We are going to be very busy with my Rhinebeck sweaters. We're going to be busy with my summer tops. We're going to be busy with test knit that I got selected for. Oh, it's going to be a pretty busy month. So we will see you hopefully next week. Hopefully I'll make more progress on some whips that you saw last week. We'll see. But yeah, I'll see you later, guys. Mwah. Bye.